and this one is a head-to-head competitive trading card game that does have a few unique twists. Something that is really interesting about this one is that this game does not actually feature any combat. There's no strength, there's no health or anything like that to worry about that you often see in a lot of other competitive card games. The way that you win in this game is also really interesting because you're going to have this river of cards set up at the start of the game, and they're actually going to be facing down at the start of the game. You're going to have a token on the leftmost card and a token on the rightmost card, and whoever is able to get their two tokens to meet on one of the cards somewhere in between is going to be the winner of the game. As you play the game, those cards will be revealed, and each card's going to have certain terrain types that players are going to be trying to get the highest value of across their characters in order to be the one to traverse that card. The cool thing about this is that you can try to advance in any of the terrain types that are currently adjacent to your token, and since you do have a token on each side of the track, that actually means multiple terrains that you can go for, potentially moving both your tokens in a single turn. Each player is also going to have their own personal player sheet and a specific hero that they're going to be playing with that will give them some asymmetric abilities. And this is a deck building game, so players are going to be drawing from their deck in order to determine the cards that they might be able to play. But in order to play those cards, they do come at a cost in the form of mana. And the neat thing about this is that in order to get mana, you're going to have to discard your other cards in your hand. So you're going to have to decide which cards you want to sacrifice in order to play the others. In addition to the cost, each of the cards are also going to have proficiencies in the 3 different terrain types. And of course, this is going to be adding to your expertise for that round in those individual terrains to determine if you have the highest amount of that terrain that you need to move one of your tokens to the next space. But what's really cool about this is that there's also some abilities as well, and there are standard cards offered in this game. But for each of those standard cards, there's also going to be a heightened version of that card that you might be able to find through the booster packs that's going to have a bit more stronger abilities or stats that you'll be able to use to your advantage. But what's really cool is that this game also does offer completely unique cards. And what I mean by that is that there's literally just one of those cards in existence in all the booster packs in the entire world. And these are randomly generated, but they are also generated in a way to make them somewhat balanced with each other. But you can expect these to be much more powerful than the other cards offered in the game. And at the end of the round, players will be tallying all these up, taking into account the different effects and abilities to determine which players have gained the highest values in each of the individual terrain types. The cool thing here is that at the end of the round, all your cards get wiped out of the play area, but you do get to choose 2 to go into your reserve. And you might have been wondering why each card does have 2 cost amounts on them. And the reason for that is because there's a cost to play a card directly from your hand, but then if you choose to put that card into the reserve, it actually can sometimes have a different cost, often of a lower value, if you choose to play it from your reserve in a subsequent turn. This means that you might not just be playing cards that you want to play that turn, but maybe playing a card that you hope to hang on to into your reserve in order to play it on the next turn. I think there's some really cool ideas here, and it's really nice to see a trading card game bringing in some fresh new concepts, especially with those unique cards. That sounds like a lot of fun. But the game itself sounds like a lot of fun, and if you are interested in this one, you can check it out. I'll have it linked in the description below.